Hi. Um, Today I'm going to discuss about clinical and mental health social work. By the way, I am your presenter today, Rowena Lasura. So let's go. What is clinical social work? Clinical social work is defined as a specialized area of social work practice that involves treating, preventing mental illness, and helping individuals address psychological, emotional, behavioral, and or social challenges that affects their quality of life. So basically, clinical social work, it is a broad field that can include many types of role and environments. Now let's move on to mental health social work. Mental health social work is a combining psychological, social, and practical elements. It addresses with individuals, groups, families, couples to provide treatment for mental illness or mental illness and disorders. So um, basically, what means to mental health is assessing, treating, and preventing people who have mental health disorders. So yes. Now let's move on to licensing. So for both clinical and mental health social work licensing, there is a master's degree in social work. So it needed to have also master's degree. So they have in MSW, they have the authority to diagnose, provide services, and treat clients with mental, emotional, and behavioral problems. And they needed to complete thousands of hours of a um, supervised experience before obtaining licensure. So for bachelor's degree in social work, yes, um, they have the authority to become care coordinator or healthcare social worker and case manager. So for licensed clinical social work, it is required to be licensed or certified at the clinical level in their state of practice. So that's why there is LCSW because it's licensed clinical social work. Yes. Okay, so let's move on to clinical social workers and mental health social workers who they works with. So for clinical social workers, they works with child and family. Social workers here addresses the well-being of child and family to do some family counseling and treatment facilities. Yes, and here we have also trauma and interpersonal violence. So social workers in here serves clients who have histories or experience of severe or complex trauma and violence, either physical, emotional, and sexual. So for mental health and addictions, social workers here deal with clients who are in substance abuse, mental or emotional difficulties, and or mental illness and addictions. Yes. So for the last, health and aging, social workers here focus on supporting clients and their families during times of medical illness. So such as this illness, such as chronic illness, disability of end of life and end of life care. So social workers who work in health settings are found in hospitals, community health settings, nursing homes, and physical rehabilitation. Social workers also work with older adults by provide support to empower and enhance the quality of life na kanang na concern nila. So, yes, that's for clinical social workers. For mental health social workers, they works with groups, individual, family, clients with long-term disabilities, child and adolescents. So, let's move on for the next, which is workplace and settings for both clinical and mental health social work. Now, let's go to clinical social work. So the workplace, there are different workplace and settings for clinical social work. That is hospitals, schools, mental health centers, private practice, primary care, and agencies. For mental health social work, there are also different workplace or settings for mental health social work. We have here medical hospitals, psychiatric hospitals, mental health facilities, community health centers, rehabilitation centers, schools, and detention centers. So we could really see that there are a lot of workplace or settings for both clinical and mental health social work. Now, let's move on, which is yeah for the roles and for the roles and responsibilities of clinical social work. Um, Roles and responsibilities of clinical social work assess and counsel individuals, families, groups, organizations, and communities. They do diagnose psychological, sorry, behavioral and emotional disorders. These addressed to individuals, couples, families, and groups who are somehow in depression, anxiety, trauma, family conflict, physical illness, or life challenges. Now we have also case management and develop treatment plans, and then consult with doctors, therapists, yes, and medical profession. So, what about clinic? What about mental health social work? What are the roles and responsibilities? So, the roles and responsibilities of mental health social work, they do assessing clients' environment. So, basically, this usually involves interviewing and taking, talking with the client and possibly his family members, friends, and yes, doctors as well. They interview clients' environment and background. Um, Also, an assessment that is not only helps determine what mental illness a client has, but also his strengths and weaknesses. So, yeah, mental illness or disorders such as suicidal thoughts, and then and daily needs. Social workers help clients find and apply for certain types of assistance, such as welfare benefits or disability benefits. So, yes. Now we have here patients counseling, then care plans and treatment for clients. This typically involves on figuring out the best methods of recovery for for the client, and in treatments, collaboration with physicians or nurse in planning, yeah, or coordinating its treatments like therapy. So yes, they another one is work in a team with with other mental health professionals. So such as professionals, psychologists, psychiatrists, counselors, and therapies to evaluate mental issues. Now the last is monitor, evaluate, and record clients' progress. So um, this one is to determine whether client's treatment is successful or not. If not, the social worker here will, um, you know, they need help to find different doctors or facilities that can better cater to clients' needs. So you could really see how social workers is trying to find a better solution for, for the clients, for their clients. So let's move on to their qualities and skills. This is for this, yeah, these are for both mental and mental health and clinical social work. So qualities and skills that needs for social workers are critical thinker. They must be patient, good listener, effective communicator, motivator, empathy, and engagement skills. So, yes. Now, let's move on for their main purpose. For clinical social work, main purpose is enhancement and maintenance of emotional, behavioral, and psychosocial functioning of individuals, families, and small groups. For mental health social work, main purpose naman is to help recover from an array of mental challenges. You could really see the difference between the clinical social work and mental health social work. Okay. Now let's move on to the main tools used. For clinical social work main tools used, they do assessments, therapy, counseling, treatment planning, case management, consultation, and evaluation. While on the other hand, which is mental health social work main tools used, they do also assessments, therapy, counseling, treatment planning, but they have rehabilitation. This rehabilitation, these people who have really severe illnesses of mental health. Okay, so for the last one, client-centered advocacy, they advocate those people who are seems they have this disability of their mental health. So yes, they do also advocacy. And then let's move on to their approach, use, or strategies to clinical social work. So for clinical social work, an integrative approach is used, which develops a paradigm of for social work and human services practice that integrates clinical work. So here, this approach advocates the integration of different social work methods because there are a lot of you know um, dealing for clinical social work. As what I said, it is a broad field. So yeah, there are different social work methods to address problems and bring desired changes. For ano naman, approaches used or strategies to mental health social work, as what I've researched, yeah, I I have a lot of researching about this mental health social work approaches, use, and strategies, but then I didn't find. So I tried to look out as long as possible because it really needed. So there, thankfully to God, um, yes, I found it. So yes, so the use is cognitive behavioral therapy. It is often used with individuals who are experiencing mental health issues, mental illness, or depression resulting from crisis or trauma. So, social workers are using cognitive behavioral therapy, which help their clients to eliminate destructive thoughts and behaviors and also prevent negative outcomes from them. Okay. Now let's move on to their challenges experience. By the way, I read some articles about the challenges experienced for both clinical and mental health social workers. And yes, these are the specific, I mean, the mostly what I tried to look out for, and this come out. So both social workers, clinical and mental health social workers, their challenges experienced are challenging clients, burnouts, intense demands, unmet desires or goals or needs, and then heavy caseloads. And the last one, encountering severe illnesses. Okay, now let's move on to the opportunities. So the opportunities of a social worker here, both clinical naman and mental health social work, they have the opportunity to learn. They witness incredible strengths and resilience to clients who are successfully recovered. So it is really hard, and overwhelming each one of social workers who are, yeah, their clients is successfully recovered. So yes, another one is expand beyond clients assessments, and for the last one, have a variety of job opportunities. Yes. So this one, wait, okay.
If
Oops.
I
Okay, I'm going to discuss also this one. I mean, yeah, just a background. Okay, for video presentation, this video presentation is about working as social worker. I mean, a social worker is working in a clinical social work. So yes, let's watch it. Oops, sorry.
if
Okay, there.
I had to describe social work in one word, I would say support. It's very rewarding to know that you've been a part of someone's life and been able to improve and help them. There is a broad scope of things that social workers do here in the hospital. The social workers are a huge part of the multidisciplinary team. Interpreter's gonna meet with them in the lab.
I think the role of a clinical social worker is to be there for families for whatever reason they're coming through our doors. A good social worker really values active listening. We meet with families and they may be disclosing some personal things about their lives. I think it's really important to be open-minded while empathizing.
Being a great advocate is very important for a social worker to be able to stand up in the team and say, this is what we think will be helpful for families.
As social workers, we do a great job of guiding families and helping them to identify resources. What we're really trying to do is to empower the families. I love that human relationship, that aspect, and to really try and be there for them in that moment.
The future of social work here at Children's is huge. We're growing. Being one of the largest pediatric hospitals, everyone really is working as one team for one goal to get these kids healthy and have the best quality of life that they can have. Where would you like to go for your Make-A-Wish?
I already told you.
Okay, well tell me again.
Disney World.
I think relationship really is the key. I always feel valued here at the hospital. My impressions, my judgment, my insight is always being asked upon. I think really being at a place that values that makes me very, excited to be a part of the team here.
Okay. So that ends my video presentation and also, yeah, my discussion. So these are my sources, and yes, thank you for listening. Hope you guys enjoy this short discussion of mine. And also, yeah, thank you so much. Also, yeah, hope you guys learn something. Bye.